Hi there, welcome to Ironhoe's MDF model making laser tag gun. Okay, the first thing you have to get is some MDF for to make this. So I normally use a 3/4 MDF and 1/2 inch MDF and join the two together. Okay, that gives you a decent thickness for the base of your tag I'm making. So that's 3/4 MDF, 1/2 inch MDF. Now I must say before we start using this stuff, guys, this is the glues that they put this stuff together with is actually carcinogenic, so I advise wearing a mask and goggles when working with this stuff. Okay, something like that. That's what I'm going to try and make here. Is first thing I do is get it. What you can do is put this in your printer, put it onto poster mode, enlarge it up to a 6-page poster, which will give you roughly a full size replica of this. Cut the 6 sheets out, glue them all together, put it onto your board and start drawing around about it, and that'll give you your drawing for your thing there. I'll save you trying to draw it. So this is what I've done here. 2 sections here, as you can see here. This is the basic shape of the tiger. You can always make it slightly bigger because obviously you can reduce it down if it doesn't feel right once you put it together. So what the first thing to do is to get these 2 sections, cut them out. That's the very first thing you do. Okay, and the next stage you've got to do, you've got to try and go to these, get these two matched together. So what I normally use is just one of these wee sanders, wee mouse sanders. Let's get them together. So what you want to do is just work this right around the full tiger, get your 2 halves so they're actually identical, nice and flat all the way around it before you start going into any other stage of your tiger building. Okay, so once you get this thing together, get it all shaped all the way right around the full tiger, then you can separate them and do your next stage. Okay, your next stage is what you want to do is to get some detail onto the tiger now, just to get some like a 3D effect. Once you've got your basic shape out, figure out roughly where you're going to get in the diagram. So look at your diagram, say well I've got a kind of high point here, just work it. You can shape all that once you've fixed it on, but just if you get it out, this is this 9mm MDF, this is on top of the 1/2 inch one. Okay, then a wee bit for the butt here, I've just got this here, so I've just kind of shaped that and glued it into place. Okay. You got to remember for your LED, so you want your LED coming back through the inside of that. So I like to keep my LEDs slightly back, so you cut the shape out, so you can see here that's one of the LEDs that just fits perfectly into that hole, so you'll be coming for the back. So this keeps it recessed slightly, so there's less chance of getting broken. So that will come through from the back of the fiberglass tiger when you make it, if you do it in fiberglass. Okay. So that's your LED in one of the sections of the butt. So the next day you've got to try and figure out where else you have to put detail on this to kind of get a bit of shape. You don't, if you're fiberglassing it, you obviously don't want to do too much detail, because if you look at this, all this detail here will be really hard to fiberglass. So what you've got to try and simplify this a little. Take basic stuff out, stuff that you don't need, but just can roughly get the shape, then take it from there. Okay, so here we go again. So it's the same again, it's the two sections of your tiger, just plunk it together, it gives you that thickness that you require. Okay. This is one here. So this one here I've done actually a wee bit more detail on this one, as you can see here. I've started to carve out the shapes here. Just took a wee Stanley knife, just kind of cut into it and then give it a wee sand down. Roughly work out your magazine here. Give it a detail on it. Try and keep them quite big so it's easy. If you're fiberglass and it's quite easy to get back out, and make sure your curves are all at slight angles. Okay, they're not turning in. Same with the handle too. The grip. What you want to do is put your hand on it every time you're making this thing. Just put your hand on it and make sure it feels in the right place. Okay, you can see yourself just now. I'm going to actually use this one just like the actual real gun itself. Instead of having the thing for reloading, I'm just going to fit the button onto here for reloading. So it'll be quite cool when you're actually holding the gun, so you can just press the reload button. Quite smart. So you can see here already, I've just started on this here. You can see the amount of detail has gone into that already. I'll just take this big board here. Okay. So that's the basic one. You can see yourself it's starting to take shape already. Turn this tilt the camera slightly. There we go. That's looking quite cool already. You can see it's starting to take shape. I mean, just starting. That's about a couple of hours work on that there. Just cutting things out and working where it is. What you do is just go and work on it now. Start taking a look at your diagram again. You can see here. Move this one out of the road. Diagram of the handle. Butt grip here, similar. Got a slight curve here, just for imitate this one here. Trigger mechanism, which will all get rounded off. Because of what I'm fiberglass, I need this slightly thicker because it's be really hard to fiberglass a small area like this one here in the drawing. It's quite thin, it's quite hard to reproduce. Okay, the magazine, some detail, some forward grip as well, which will probably shape a bit different to that. This bit here is this bit here. What we're going to do here, there's my reload button thing's going to be in the top of this one here. A wee bit more detail to get rubbed into it. Then I have to decide what sort of detail I'm going to here, so I'll probably just go, if you can see in this drawing here, I'll probably just go with these lines and stagger them. Maybe a couple of more holes with just a drill. Not too deep, I really keep them around about 5-6 mil at the deepest. You just need that just so it shows up and it shows you the actual part of the detail. You don't need it as deep as what we get on the real gun. You can see here it's starting to look the part. Okay, the next section we have to do is get some detail into your tiger itself. So you can do this with either a wee Dremel or these wee things here. Here is a wee sanding disc. I find them very good. Then you buy the cheap sanding disc, you better actually buy the Dremel ones because these will last a lot longer than the actual cheap ones. You'll get about 2 of these wee markers out and the other ones will just tear out a bit. So it's worthwhile buying the Dremel ones yourself. They're much better. If you don't do that, you can actually just use a drill and just press it in sideways. One of these cutting drills. Okay, so there's some detail into this thing here. I'll let you see what it looks like. Straight down, because later on I'm going to camper this down and round it off. So you want to do all this just now because it makes it a lot easier than trying to do it on a rounded surface. So if you kind of just get your Dremel, cut it in nice and level. As you can see here, we've got depth there. So when you take this down, just do away with this edge here, so it makes the detail a lot better. So I'll show you here where I've done this. Okay, you can start to see the detail coming through now. This side here I've actually done and rounded it back off. As you can see here, it's rounded the edges off, so it makes it a lot easier. It gives you that kind of, if you can hold this thing, you can see the detail in it now. Doesn't take much. The tiger's actually starting to look the part now. And you Dremel. When this is finished, it's going to really look the part. Okay, so I've done the same here at the end on the butt as well, just to give you the kind of rubber effect. So just stick it in, you don't have to go as deep with this one, and just round back off the corner again. So it gives you, when you actually make this out, it'll actually look like it's a part of the gun. Okay, you see here, I've got a wee shell ignition thing there, so I'm going to put a wee, I've got a wee chrome bullet thing I'm going to screw into this. So when I do my fiberglass, it's going to come into the shape of the tiger as well. You see here, you notice in all my tigers here I put this bit in the end here. This is for to take the tube. It's going to slide over the top of it with your lens system. Every tiger's the same I make. If you look at some of the other videos you'll actually see this. Just slide the tube onto the end of it. Keeps it nice and fit. You tap a wee screw into it and that holds it in place. It stops it from moving about. Protects your lens system. So all I've got to do now is just start working on this side now. As you can see there, I've started to do it. Then we start looking for some other detail we can put into it later on once I get this side done. So I'll switch you off just now. Hey guys, this is what I've done. This is about 3 days work, well 3 evenings working with MDF. So it's a 1/2 inch MDF, 3/4 MDF, and these sections are made up of 9mm MDF, just glued on, sanded down. some of the fine detail that I showed you earlier on, how to make that, is to just curve that. And once you get it all, then it's just a matter of just curving it and sanding it all back down again. That gives you a nice round thing there. So there we want, just some bits from my buttons, bits from my screws for holding it together. My magazine, so it's not the right M4 magazine, but I like that type. It's like the one off the Bushman. You can see there, look at that a lot. It's quite effective. As I said to you, this is what I do with my nozzle. 32mm pipe just pops right on at the end of it. That holds your lens system. Slide another one across over the top of it just to get some holes in that stuff to make it like a silencer. A bit for the rail, it just gets screwed onto the top there. If you've got the money, you can pay for another rail and just run 2 rails along the top of it, but I don't see the expense. One should be quite sufficient. It's quite a good looking size. If I hold up my hand here a bit, maybe show you what it looks like. So it's a fair size. Centre of the balance is just where the trigger is. Kind of just a wee bit there. That's it. That's it. Where the balance is, just where the trigger is. So it feels quite good to hold. It looks apart here. I'm going to this is the bit here for the speaker. The speaker's going to be coming out there. That's the LED trigger mechanism. I don't use a trigger, I just use a button, a square push monitoring button. Just fit it into that inside it. And actually come to make it. The bit here looks apart. There's just giving that wee bit of detail there, just kind of things it up a bit. That's from my 3 buttons: reload, key switch, and charging point. Up here they put in my bit in the bottom of this here for the cable. So if you're not using fiberglass, you can actually still make this tagger. And what it is, once you separate it, open the 2 ends up, and you can actually get like a Dremel or something like that, or a router, and you can route out the sections where, like say your battery's gone, stuff like that. You can just route it out the inside it and screw it back together and paint it. So if you don't want to use fiberglass, so you can still use this one. It's quite effective. If I can stick it into view there. I'm not using a video camera, it's just a camera I'm using. Okay. I've got a better view for you. There you go.